All right. So why are we doing this? We've done 2 streams so far, and I think there was, you know, it's not really anyone's fault necessarily, but it's just kind of a lack of clarity. A lack of clarity in terms of, you know, why, like why we're doing this. I think some person commented on the last video, and they were like, you know, this is, I don't recommend watching anime to learn Japanese. I was like, whoa, like we're not necessarily like trying to learn how, like even that sentence is like very loaded, like learn Japanese. I'm distracted by the aircon thing happening right now. I'm sorry. And let me refocus. Okay. I'm also like feeling a little bit shy and embarrassed because the guy is in the other room and he can probably hear me, so I'm like, "Chotto hazakashi." I'm a little hazakashi. Okay. Yeah, so somebody commented, they're like, "Oh, let's learn Japanese." So I was like, well, it's a loaded statement, like learn Japanese. I think in general we talk about it, but if we have a focus, now it sounds like kind of like a lot. Like, okay, well, what are we doing with Japanese? Like, that's why I was like, you know, if you guys don't have a goal yet, you need to make a goal. I always think short, mid, long. I do this every first lesson or consultation, usually consultation with my students. You gotta have a goal. You gotta have multiple goals. Otherwise, after studying or doing things for a little while, you'll kind of lose direction and you'll lose motivation. Because you're like, why am I doing this again? Oh, I want to learn Japanese. Well, that's not very specific, right? So what do we have to do? We have to basically say this, okay? Why are we doing these videos? The reason we're doing these videos is because is to understand Japanese anime. Like we're just trying to kind of understand Japanese media, and so by doing that, like, okay, that means we're eliminating a lot of other things. We're not trying to go out and talk to people, you know. If you want to do that, I have other videos on that. You know, you can talk about that. We can look into that. But we're trying a new focus now. Like our goal that we're doing together is, I want to understand Japanese media better. So anime or drama or movies, whatever you want to do. Even that's a tall glass of milk. I don't know. That's a tall task. And so what we really need to think is like, okay, cool, that sounds nice, but how are we going to do it? And very generically, smart and fast. Okay. And I'll show you. Just a reminder. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I did it next. Nice. So how are we going to do that? How are we going to do it smart and fast? Well, we've been slowly identifying, let's just call it parts of speech or whatever in Japanese. Even if we don't understand a word, if we can't really identify it, like it's different than English. Like in English, spaces, right? You have a space, you have a space, you have a space, but Japanese doesn't have that. So spaces in English kind of help you identify what something might be, or at least you can see where it breaks up and stuff. Japanese doesn't have that. So we have to be able to identify words based on how they look. And so the first one we did was E endings, right? E endings. Okay. And then we're kind of filling in the blanks. We're kind of blocking stuff out as we go, right? We're like, okay, did that. Now I did this. Then we have akaoni. All right. So random noun. This is a noun. And then now today, oops, we're going to be doing verbs. So already, just in 3 days, we'll just call it 3 days, we're really knocking out a lot of content. Okay, so this is actually an example of a pretty difficult sentence as well. Like, this is not an easy sentence by any means. weird kanji you don't know, which we'll get to kanji later. But you know, I'm not going to get into how to identify the other ones, but today we're going to be talking about verbs. And look at that, just with 3 things. So verbs, adjectives, nouns, essentially. We've already blocked out pretty much the entire sentence. And so again, this is not to go, oh my gosh, I understand 80% of the sentence now. It could mean that, depending on your level. But the main thing we're trying to get to is, I want to be able to identify what is happening in a sentence so that I can just look at it. And instead of thinking, oh my gosh, what is this kanji? Oh, what's going on? Why is this katakana all of a sudden? That we can look at it and go, like, this is 1 plus 2, right? It's like AB, right? In like math or something like that. You know, these are combined, right? This is an E ending and it's describing this noun, stuff like that. And you're like, oh, well, what the heck is this other stuff, right? What's the leftover stuff? Well, you know what? Don't worry about it. We'll get to that. We'll get to that as well. But it's like, okay, what's tatta? Is that a verb? It looks like a verb. I even had to think about it today. So it's like, what is it? I look it up and it says, oh, tatta is actually an adverb. It's like, who cares, right? That's, if you like that information, cool. I never knew that. How did I know tatta? Well, because I had seen and heard it a bunch of times. It's like tatta hitori de, well, tatta ichinin, you know, just over and over. It's always tatta plus something, tatta plus something, tatta plus something, right? And so the way that we're going to get better at identifying stuff, and the way we're going to get better at Japanese as a whole, but number one, our goal, what's our focus? To understand Japanese media, okay? We need to be able to identify things so that there's less to worry about in the sentence. You know, it's like you're not going to be able to just magically identify everything. But if we tackle the easy stuff, which is the very obvious stuff, E endings, nouns and adjectives, verbs, well, there's not much left over ever. And so hopefully with a lot of repetition, you know, you see the word yasashi over and over. That's that yasashi. Oh, maybe you never see akaoni again. Oh, well, you know, that's how nouns are. They don't show up too much. Hitori, you'll see it over and over. Sumu, you'll see it a lot. Verbs, you're going to see the most, and that's why verbs are kind of the most important, and verbs is really where we're going to be shifting our focus today. So sound good? All right, so review on our mindset. We're not trying to understand 100% because that would be silly. That would mean that we're fluent or native if we could understand 100%. You're not trying to translate the sentences, okay? Very different from what this would be. If it might be okay to look up a word as you go, but please, if you're watching something, don't pause on this screen and then go, ooh, what's this? 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 That is failure. I promise. If you know, hold on, I'll just write this down here so I don't forget. That's failure. Don't look up each word, and you're just going to set yourself up for failure. It's going to be exhausting and you'll probably burn yourself out. Not a good way to go about things, right? I promise you'll learn much more in every way. If you were to stop on 5 screens and spend 20 minutes on it, like stop 5 times on each screen, 20 minutes and looking stuff up, versus watching 20 minutes without stopping, you will learn so much more from watching 20 minutes, and your brain will actually be trained in the real way it needs to be, which is to be understanding Japanese by hearing it and seeing it. So that's essentially kind of what we're training ourselves to do, is like, we don't need to stop. We can quickly take a first glance, go boom, boom, these are together. Boom, 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 these are together. Verb. That's what we're training ourselves to do. And personally, I think that's the best way. I don't know if it feels like the only way to me. I don't know how else people are learning stuff. Now, when should you try to translate sentences? I would say almost never, unless it's kind of like a quick in your head thing. Like, what is this? Like, kokoro yasashi, like a nice ogre. Okay. Like bits and pieces, I think are okay. Like sundemashita, live, but it's mashite, undemashita, was living. Stuff like that's fine. But don't take a sentence and sit there and be like, maybe every once in a while. But I would say if you're at that level, the level to be able to start doing that is like you understand, let's just say 60, 70, 80% or more. Okay. Otherwise, please don't ever do that. It's bad. Like, think about it like this. Okay, you don't understand 100%, and then you're like, now you're faking trying to be native, and then you're also faking trying to be a professional translator. Like, very bad combination. You like, if you don't know how to translate and then you don't actually understand, it's like double bad. Right? It can be fun. If it's fun, you know, have fun with it, but don't make that your main source of studying. That's a bad approach. What's our goal? We're trying to learn how to identify everything. Mainly verbs, e endings or e adjectives, and then nouns and non-adjectives. Van, okay? And think and wonder. We'll get to this more later, but as you're watching, think about what that might mean. Wonder about it. Man, I keep seeing this toyu, koto. I keep seeing mono. What is, or koto. Koto's a good one. I keep seeing koto. I don't get it. I look it up. It still doesn't make sense. Keep thinking about it. Keep looking for examples of it. Okay? So how do we identify verbs? By number one, by knowing the conjugations, and then by seeing what particles are near it, right? So o taberu, right? And this is actually what sets you up for success in the future too, is you're like, oh, I did o and taberu. I keep seeing o and taberu. Maybe they're just always that way. Okay. And then one day you see ga, tabe, tai, and you go, huh? I thought it was o every time. And then you don't have to go and relearn what ga is, okay? Don't go out and be like, now ga, I thought I understood it, but now I don't. Just accept it and move on. Like, just instead of, it would be like seeing this 2 + 2 = 4, and then like being like, oh my gosh, like what does equals mean again? Oh no, I could have sworn 2 + 2 = I could have sworn it was, wait, I thought you had to multiply by 2. What is going on here? Right? Just, oh, 2 to the second is 4. Oh, 2 + 2 = 4. Just accept it and move on. Like, don't start having existential crises about what 2 to the second power is or something like that, right? Or whatever, is it whatever divided by 0 is like the one that doesn't work, right? How do we identify anything? Basically, by knowing the conjugations of it is a huge part of it, like 90%, maybe more. And then by knowing basic grammar rules, that covers all the other bases. Okay? The way that I teach verbs, as far as I know, is I have not seen anybody else teach this way. I don't know why, but when I first got to Japan, I didn't know how to really conjugate verbs. I knew a couple, like nomimasu, nomimashita, stuff like wakarimashita, but I didn't really understand. I just accepted it, right? Like, I just accepted, okay, that's the way that it is, right? But the way that I teach verbs is you only have to technically memorize 5 verbs. That's it. Other than the irregular ones, okay? Irregular, it is what it is. Hi. So, but first we need to talk about what now later tense is, okay? This is what I call it. I don't know what the actual name is. I think it's like present future tense or something. But that's, hey Rodrigo. Yeah, that's a little confusing to me. I don't really like grammar or words too much, or getting into linguistics too heavily. So let's talk about what it is. It's going to either happen now or later. Taberu, nomu, iku. This is what I call now later tense. Why? Well, it's either going to be something you're doing now or later. Polite would be tabemasu, nomimasu, ikimasu. And yeah. Okay. Why don't you guys try to translate this one word, one sentence, one word sentence? Taberu. How would you guys translate that? Something like that. Are you gonna eat? Are you gonna eat that? So part of, you know, getting better at actually understanding Japanese is kind of knowing what simple stuff means out of context. It's kind of like, can you imagine what context this is? If so, you're probably doing pretty good. So, you gonna eat that? You gonna eat that? Something like that. All right, what about this one? This one is a little different. Cafe iku. Going to the cafe. I like that translation, right? I think that's a really good way to think about Japanese when you're learning is don't worry so much about, like I said, we're not perfect. We're not pro translators. So let's not try to have pro level translations. It's good if you can, but I always did kind of what you did there, Bridgewater. It's like just try to have the core components and you're much more likely to get it right. Now it could be going to the, like, are you going, it could be, are you going to the cafe? But oftentimes this is not asking, are you going to the cafe? But more often, this is an invitation asking, do you want to go to the cafe? Do you want to go to the cafe? Do you want to go to a cafe? Could be either one. Oftentimes, this now later tense is an invitation. Same with polite. So if I said cafe ni ikimasu ka, that's if we have no context, pretty much everybody, like all Japanese people their first context that they imagine is, do you want to go to a cafe? Like are we going to a cafe? Definitely more often an invitation. What about this one? Chotto nomu? Chotto nomimasu ka? Essentially, yeah. Want to sip? You want to sip? Right? Would you like to drink a little bit of what I have? Right? Do you want some of this? You want some? Chotto nomu? You want some of this? You want some of my coffee? Right. So this is also a good example of how easy Japanese can be with spoken Japanese. It's like literally little drink, you know. Imagine if English were like that. Little drink, want drink? No drink. It's very simple. It's very simple. It's just Japanese has, you know, number one, the initial hurdle of hiragana and kanji and stuff like that. So it takes longer, but in its essence, it's very simple. There's other words that are going to affect stuff sometimes. And this is, for some reason, it sounds like a taunt. For some reason, textbooks and Duolingo and every freaking app, etc., website, everywhere, except for like tiny few people, everybody teaches like tabemasu and taberu. They always teach it as like do. So they'll teach you sushi o tabemasu ka, and they teach this to mean, do you eat sushi? But I mean, like, actually, that kind of question does not really happen almost ever. Does that structure to mean do you eat, people who do eat sushi or whatever? So like, you know, if I talk about, I'm not going to get into it, but sushi o taberu hito wa, like people who eat sushi, stuff like that, that structure happens all the time. But this general, do you eat sushi? I eat sushi. I do eat sushi every day. Like, it just really doesn't happen nearly as much as this. And so it's like, this should be the main way that this verb now later tense is taught. But for some reason it's not. Yoku means often. So do you do that often? Sometimes it's just always going to mean do. All right. Why are we talking about this? Well, before you ever get into learning verb conjugations, you should probably know what you're actually doing. Negative is very easy. I think it's like, tabenai, like don't eat. Happens all the time in class. I'm very fluent in textbook. Yeah. But even tabenai, like people think like, oh, I do not eat sushi. Like very much more likely, like way more % of the time, that's going to mean I'm not going to eat it. I'm not going to eat that Dozo. Ah, tabenai desu. Dozo. I'm not gonna eat that. Go ahead. Go ahead. Okay. So now that we got that, so stuff like tabemasu ka is usually an invitation. And it could mean like ima tabemasu, I'm gonna eat it right now, or ashita tabemasu, I'm gonna eat it tomorrow. Okay, that's why I call it now later tense. I think a lot of you have probably seen this silly little chart, and for years I thought it was just to memorize hiragana. Little did I know, it is the genius behind the entire Japanese language with verb conjugation. It is insane how important this chart is, and I never knew. But all verb conjugation, if this is the right side, yeah, all verb conjugation is compacted into this chart. Every single conjugation, everything. Okay, so basic dictionary form. We're gonna refer to these as sounds. So this is the oo sound. Oo sound. Not you sound, but oo sound, okay? Now if we go down the line, oo, 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 all ends in oo. Oo, ku, su, tsu, nu, fu, mu, yu, du. All of it. The only one that doesn't actually have a verb is you. Ooh, I'm feeling the AC now. Hopefully he doesn't have to charge me a bunch of money. Right? So all these are basic verb endings. Okay? And we'll see all of them today. Right? And I'm going to show you how we're shifting sounds for each conjugation. And this goes quite a long way. It's very cool. It is very cool. So every conjugation is in here. I know you're like, yeah, because it's the alphabet, but it's very significant. We're shifting entire columns, so you don't even need to really think. As long as you know, you're like, oh, it's this one. Because all you need is one verb really to do it for the entire language. So for example, polite is the E sound, right? Now we're leaving out one type of verb, okay? We're leaving out one type of verb. All the other verbs, E sounds. So, wakarimasu, okay. So I know that for virtually all of the verbs, if I'm trying to say the now later, you know, the typical polite thing, it's just nomimasu, asobimasu, shinimasu, machimasu, hanashimasu, kikimasu, kaimasu. It's all in the E column. And we're going to be doing that over and over depending on what conjugation we need, okay? So, essentially this is what we're going to do a bunch, but yeah. It's like the norm, the positive now later tense, negative now later tense, past tense, okay? So this is our first pattern, okay? I want to combine this with an idea or a concept that I teach my students, which is called home-based learning. I think I did a video on this if you look in the past few videos, but home-based learning is basically what I did to get really good at Japanese. And it is one of the core tools if you want to be good at speaking. Probably the core tool. The idea is like you always have a home base, okay? So there's many ways you can utilize this. For now, I'm just going to talk about verbs, okay? So right away, verb ending in ku or verb ending in gu. Does anyone have any verb they know that ends in ku or gu? Arimasu ka ne? Oyogu. Great. Now, if you know how to conjugate oyogu, you're going to know how to conjugate all ku verbs, all gu verbs. And conjugations within those will actually help you conjugate almost all the other verbs. Okay? So I'm going to show you. This is the pattern. This is the plain past tense, just in case anybody's wondering. 大丈夫ですか？漏れは特になかったんですか？漏れしてはい受けてはいるの。はい。あ、のがあると急激な。はい。今シーズン。はい。今年使うやったことない。 うん。
ただ、もしかしたら1ヶ月で抜けちゃう可能性もある。その場合は肺がん工事。
あ、わかりました。
また連絡。
あ、わかりました。ありがとうございます。一応冷たい。はい。
規定量より少しだけ多めに入れておいた。
はい。
夏は。
あ、まあまあまあまあ。はい。
また
はい。わかりました。はい。ありがとうございます。
ここでじゃ
あ。はい。はい。ありがとうございます。
お支払いはオンライン決済。
はい。でした。はい。
どっちでした？
欲しいです。はい。はい。Alright, I'll be right back. ちょっと待ってね。
Japanese Language Mentor has been a great help in my Japanese language journey. I was a little unsure of what to study or what to do next, you know? And it's fun. Like it's more fun when you're talking to someone instead of just, you know, grinding flashcards or kanji. I really look forward to the lessons. He does a great job of telling you what's important when you're trying to learn conversational Japanese, and it's definitely helped me stay motivated when I'm studying, and I highly recommend it.
It's not presented in a way that reminds me of a classroom where it's here's material, sit down and study. It's like talking with your friend who you haven't seen in a week, you know? You just kind of you catch up on things, you enjoy talking, and all of a sudden you look down and the time has gone by. So I do like the aspect of him having learned the language himself so that he can relate to the process of learning the language and guide you in the right direction, as opposed to wasting time on things that may or may not be how they're supposed to actually be used or anything like that.
Normally, this is a part that I just go one by one with my students, and honestly, that is the best way to review. You know, actually have a real, like, something being like, do you know this? I only watch streamers with clean rooms. No thanks. But I honestly, the only there's so many to do, and I think I'm just gonna write them for you. I'm only gonna ask one, okay? We'll do this first one together so you guys can see the pattern, I suppose. And then after that, I'll just be asking this because it's the positive past tense that is basically the only thing. It's the only conjugation you actually need to memorize or remember. That's it. I promise. I mean, if you haven't learned anything, then yeah, sure, you gotta do a little bit more. But most people, if you're here or if you're watching, you've already kind of seen or familiar with the rest. It's just this one that people need to kind of focus on. Okay, so kiku. What is the polite of kiku? I'll just do 10 seconds for each one. What is the polite of kiku? Not kiki, you're almost there. There's a little bit more you need to add to that. So desu. So desu. Kikimasu, kikimasu. That's right. Boom, we're moving. Let me make sure it's probably not there. Yep, hold on. There we go. Kikimasu, okay. And I will be leaving in the kanji for the sole reason that... Nah, it's okay. Yeah, no, you never want to just do the stems. I promise you. Don't ever just practice the stems. That's a very bad way to memorize verbs. It's not good. What was I saying? We're leaving the kanji in. First off, what is kiku? Kiku is to listen. So think back to now later tense, like, oh, I'm gonna listen, or, you know, I'm gonna listen, or right now, or tomorrow, or whatever. I listened, that kind of thing. It can also mean to ask, but let's not make things more complicated than they need to be. Okay. And for anyone who's a kanji Nazi, yes, I know that there is a different kanji for listening to music. All right. Somebody be like, oh, you almost had him. Kanji exposed is good for retention. Yeah. If you see it with the kanji, there's a big reason. I skipped over this slide because of time, but the key is inside of this kanji, and that reading never changes except for one irregular verb, kuru. Okay. So this is always the same. This is always the same. And that's very helpful to know, because you're like, okay, ki, and then you can begin. You said ki, and then maybe you're like ki, ka, ki. That's good. You already have one hiragana eliminated for memorization. One less thing you need to memorize. Boom. So kikimasu. So let's go back to our chart. Where was it? Okay. So we're going for this polite form, the mas form. Okay, if you want to call it that. We're going from oo sound to which sound? We're going to the e sound. So we're going from the oo column to the e column. Okay. So it ends in ku, right? So we're going from ku to ki. It's that simple. Okay. And that's the way it is for all ku ending verbs. And as you'll see, all gu ending verbs. And that's why we're pairing these two verbs together. Okay. So kikimasu. Okay. What's the past tense of kikimasu? Past tense of kikimasu. Ooh, that's chilly. Good. That's a good thing. Kikimashita. So desu. Minasan sugoi. You guys are awesome. All right. Kikimashita. Boom. All right. Now, normally they'd be like, oh, let's keep going. No. Okay. The whole point of the way that I organize verbs is so that you can really just the way that I saw it. It's like, I don't know why other people haven't done this. I'm sorry. I don't get it. Maybe people realize it, but no, I've never seen it organized this way. All right. Okay. Now, if you knew nothing about Japanese, nothing, and you were to look at these two symbols, what is the only difference? What is the only difference between these two symbols? If you knew nothing about Japanese and you're like, this one's like this. The rendaku. The dakuten, right? The tenten. There's so many ways that we can say this. Tenten, right? Oh, those two little lines there, right? Yep, those two little lines. I want you to remember that. That's the only difference between these two conjugations, okay? We have isogu. The black part is inside of the kanji, right? So isogu. So we already should know how to do this based on what we've learned here. What is the mas form or the polite form of isogu? Dozo. You guys are pros. Isogimasu, right? Isogimasu. Very good. Very good. Good. Isogimasu. Okay. And for people that haven't really learned this yet, they might put it somewhere else, but okay. So all that happened, all right? Ku, gu, right? We're just adding this on every time. It's like, just like that. So for ku, it goes like this. For gu, like that. Isogimasu. Good. Past tense. Isogimashita, right? Isogimashita. Okay. I'm not gonna highlight the blue every time. It takes too much time. Okay. Now, I still don't want to do this yet. I still don't want to tell you guys what this is. I still don't want to look at it. Why? Because it's the most unique. It's the most, like, I want it to be kind of the last thing that we focus on, right? Memory tells us the first thing and the last thing are the things that you remember best. Okay, so let's look at the negative. What is the negative plane? So the plain negative form of kiku. What is the negative of kiku? What is the negative? So if this is, I'm gonna listen, I'm not gonna listen to music. Slide 43. Slide 43. Okay. わかりますか? The plain negative. Hmm? Alright. So, for the negative, for the polite, we went to the E column, right? For the negative, we're gonna go to the A column. The A column. So all negative verb conjugations, we'll just say plain form for now, are gonna go to the A column. Okay? So we're in ku. We got a ku verb and a gu verb right now. So that means we're gonna be going from ku to ka, ka. That's right. Or ga. Somehow that becomes Squidward or something. All right. So looking good, looking good. Kiku, kikanai, kikanai. Right? We can see it here too. We went from the oo to the ah, the oo to the e, ku ki, ku ka, ah sound. Japanese crows are always negative, so negative. Good, Rodrigo. Kikanai. That's right. N5. Good, 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 good. All right. Kikanai. Now we're gonna do the past tense. Let's do it like this instead. Okay. Nah. How do I always do it? Nah. Let's do it like this. Okay. What's the negative past tense of kikanai? So what is the past? Essentially, sorry. What is the past tense of kikanai? What is the past tense of kikanai? If you saw the first two streams, you should easily. Actually, sorry. If you saw the first stream, you should easily be able to do this. Easily. So. Right? Because if we look closely, oh my goodness, what is this? It's an E ending, okay? And that's why I call them E endings, not E adjectives, because it just eliminates the confusion of people going, wait, I thought this was a verb. I was like, let's just not worry about that, okay? Let's just focus on how it conjugates, not worry about linguistics. Kanakatta, okay? That's right, boom. Now, let's do the same thing. What's the negative of isogu and the negative past of isogu? Boom, boom. It's the exact same thing, okay? We don't need to learn anything new. If we've learned how to conjugate one, we can conjugate the other. Vice versa. Okay? Personally, I never really thought about this. It was just like sound. It just was like, oh, this one is like that one. Isoganai, isoganakatta. Right. Very good. Isoganai. Isoganakatta. Right? And I think another reason I'm writing them kanji is because this is how we're going to see them in anime and media. You know, nobody's going to be baby stepping you through this kind of stuff. Good, 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 good. Okay. Now let's do the polite for these two. Now, this is essentially when I teach, I'm teaching for speech, and so I'm going to teach it the same way for now. What would be, how do we make these polite? How do we make these polite? And I think here it's okay if we get some differing answers. I'm going to take off my headphones now that that guy's gone. Boom. I love Five's answer. That's right. Just add des. Ooh, close, Alistar. Close, Alistar. Close bridge. So, kikanai desu. Kikanakatta desu. Okay. But I'm glad you made that mistake because it's something that people commonly do all the time. Okay. So, if it's an E ending, it conjugates the exact same way that we did our E endings before. Slide. Oh, I have to do it in here. No. Okay. Slide 16. Let's go back. Right. The same way. Atarashikunai, right? So in the same way that this ends, we have nai ending, nakatta ending. Nai desu. Oops. Nai desu, nakatta desu. Okay? Very common mistake. I think we're at slide 6. Boom. All good. Now, since we're talking about anime media, all right, I'll just quickly write the other ones. I'm not going to do this for all of them. It's usually stuff that people already know. The negative is in the past. The fact of it is in the present. Interesting. Yeah. So, yes, it could be kikimasen. I won't do this for all of them. Maybe I will. I don't know. Depending on time, we've got about an hour. Kikimasen deshita. Okay. That's just the reality. For speech, know that you don't gotta know masen if you're just trying to learn how to speak Japanese. And that's why usually I just teach people how to speak rather than just anime and stuff. But yeah, because then it's nice. It's like, oh, we're still just adding des. Like we still don't need to learn anything new. I like that. Yeah, I like that better. So that's cool. Okay, let's take our same knowledge. Let's do it to isoganai, isoganakatta. Right? It's gonna be the exact same. But what do we do? Here, I can even copy paste this. And there's only gonna be this part that's different. This part of this stuff at the end all stays the same. Isn't that nice? It's like most of it is the same. So it's gonna be isoganai, isoganakatta desu, isoganai desu, isoganakatta desu. And then, since this is polite, we're going to the E column. Isogimasen, isogimasen, isogimasen deshita. Okay, we got through that. This is our first pattern, guys. Okay, this covers 2 verbs. There's 5 patterns. Only a total of 9 verbs, but you only need to learn 5 to learn them all. You only need to learn 5 to learn them all. Okay? So, now we're here. Now we're at the weird one. This is the one that requires all of our focus. Such viewers will experience buffering. Whatever. I don't care. All right. So, positive past. Anybody know? Kiku. What is the positive past tense? Or essentially, what is the past tense of kiku? This is the hard one. Yatta. Very nicely done. Good job, guys. Okay. This is ki I ha. Okay. So up until now, we've had this awesome little like thing going where we're like, oh, this column to this column, this column, this. Unfortunately, that is not the case with our positive past tense. Okay, with our plain past tense. Not gonna happen. That is just not the case. Let me get rid of all right, I think there's some things I can close, like Steam. Close that. All right, can I close that? Sure, get out of here. All right, that should be good. Yeah, I wonder why the exception. I don't know. I don't know. That's just the way it is, huh? So, kita. Okay. So, still though, I'll do this one. We still have a pattern, okay? We have a pattern, it's just a little different. We're going from this ku to e, okay? For both of these verbs, both of these verbs are functioning exactly the same, right? There's just one little difference. Now, I can't put a dakuten, a tenten on e. That doesn't exist, really. So, what is isogu gonna turn into? What is the past tense of isogu? Cunning stunts! Konnichiwa, Hatsune Miku da yo. Anata no Wi-Fi ni imasu. Is that something that Hatsune Miku talks about? Omoshiroi. I know, I've heard Hatsune Miku and I know what she is, blah blah blah, but I know almost nothing about the songs. She does? That's so funny. I am in your Wi-Fi. What's cool, the coolest thing I learned is that she is a instrument. Like, that is an instrument. It's considered an instrument. I think that's so fascinating. Isoida. Close 5. Maybe you just had a typo. A and E, similar. Okay. Isoi. Now, a lot of people, when they're learning the first time, they'll say isoita, right? Because they're trying to copy. But we always need to carry this over somewhere. And in this case, it's going to be on the ta. So it's going to become da. Isoida. Okay? That's it. Now, so this is the main thing you need to memorize, okay? I promise virtually all the other ones you'll just know. So if you want to just walk away from this screen and be like, what should I learn? Just write down Kiku turns into Kita. And if you just memorize that, okay, then you'll remember this. Any gu ones, you'll remember, as long as you know that a ku gu, they're virtually the same thing. Okay, that's it. Now, when I was talking about home-based learning, okay, eventually you're going to run into tons of other verbs that end in ku and gu, right? So what should you do? Well, I think the mistake that people make is they'll try to start conjugating based off that new verb. They'll just be like, now you can just do it. Like, I think for me, it wasn't that much trouble all the time. Sometimes it was. All right. But let's say you have something like, let's just write this down here. Let's say you get tsuranuku, like a really weird ku verb. I'm not even going to show you what it is because that's not the point. And then they'll be like, oh shoot, tsurakikita, tsurakikimasu, right? And you'll get it wrong, and that's understandable. Now, if you use the home-based learning method, a method I developed, essentially you're never going to run into any conjugation problems. If you memorize one verb, you'll memorize all verb conjugations for ku and for gu. Okay, as long you know the part you memorize is like you got to do the 10-10 or whatever. All right. So when you're in your head and you're trying to conjugate, basically you go back to your home base verb, which in this case maybe is kiku, maybe for some people it's kaku, to write. Doesn't matter what it is. Just have one verb for each type, okay? So kaku, if the next pattern is, you have nomu. Most of you probably already know one of each verb. You probably already have one verb memorized for each thing, okay? And then you just go back in your head. Same with like an e ending. A home base ending for an e ending is like atsui. So instead, when you get like, I don't know, totoi, it's a little complicated. Like noble, totoi. It's a weird one. And then you're like toku, toi, toku, and people mess it up. Totonakatta. No. Something's wrong. Go back to your home base. Atsui, atsukunai. So it'd be totoi, totokunai. Okay. Right? Go back to your home base and use it to help you get through the conjugation. Don't try to do this chart, okay? Don't try to do this chart in your head for the first time with a new verb. Go back to the chart you already learned. Go back to your home base, okay? Does that make sense? All right. How's everybody doing? Pattern 2. All right, so you can even just look at this. All right, for ku, I need this. That's basically all this was to me when I learned Japanese. I never studied verbs formally, never. Ryokai, okay. But this is what came to me. I'll just say God gave it to me. Pattern 2, 2 out of 5. So this one is for verbs ending in mu, bu, and gu. All right. You need to remember nda. So you can associate all these with this. That's the main thing. Okay, here we go. This one I'm gonna fly through, right? But we can even do it like this. This is interesting. All right, so e sound, E sound. But yeah, basically that's it. I mean, that's it. It's just E sound and then ah sound. Right? So you know, E, 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 E. So do you see how much we fill up just by using this method? Is like, literally, that's what I'm saying, is like, this is the only part you need to memorize. Everything else is the exact same thing throughout all verbs. Except for one type and irregulars. But come on. So we're gonna do E. Let's go through the E sounds, the polite sounds first. So it's gonna be no mimasu. So if that's no mimasu, what are the other two? We'll go in little portions. All right. What's the other two? Hoka no futatsu wa. Nokori no futatsu wa. Sounds a little better. Erabimasu. So, erabimasu. Erabimasu. I should have done it in this order. Choose your drink and then die. Erabimasu. Subarashii desu, minasan. Ganbattemasu ne, minna. You guys are doing great. All right. So, with this pattern, we're tackling 3 verbs. Now that is a good feeling. That means with just memorizing one of these, we can learn all the conjugations for all 3. It's very nice. Very pick your poison. I know, that's what I was saying. What is this? What is it with us and alcohol today? All right. I taught side story. Okay. When I used to teach English, I taught for like 1 year basically. There's this one student, and he owned a bar. He owned a bunch of bars in the town that I was in, a small town. And he just wanted to learn. It was a town, like a Navy town, so there was like often like American clients and stuff, customers. And he just wanted to learn a little bit of English for fun. And then it was him, his employee, and she was actually decent. You know, she really wanted to learn English and be able to talk more, and she was decent. And then it was like one of their customers, and I ended up becoming really good friends with all of them, and we hung out all the time. And after lessons, we would go drinking and stuff like that back in the day. It was a lot of fun. I had no friends, so they were my first friends. I lived there for 7 months with no friends or anything, and they became my first friends. And the customer, his name is Shuto. He ended up being one of my best friends, and he was in the music scene, and so I got into a band with him, and it was a lot of fun. So anyway, I taught the owner, Masa. I taught him the English. He's like, なんかかっこいい言い方ある？なんか選んでください。お酒を選べみたいな。And I was like, ooh, English has pick your poison. So I taught him pick your poison, and he remembered it forever. And then he was like, 寄ってくれてありがとうはなんて言う? And he was like, how do you say 寄ってくれてありがとう? And I was like, ooh, thanks for stopping by. He never forgot it. So there's one more thing he wanted to know, and this is the only 3 things he learned from my class, because, you know, that's just how he is. When people don't really care, they only care about what they want. And he goes, ゲリは英語でなんて言う? JD,ゲリは英語でなんて言う? But personally, I think any interest, no matter how weird it is, I say, yeah, like, I will teach you whatever you want to know, especially in an adult class, of course. It was an adult class. And I was like, diarrhea. And he was like, diarrhea. And so he would just walk around saying diarrhea all the time. He would be like, JD. Like, I would go to this bar, and then we weren't talking or anything. He'd be like, JD, diarrhea. And then I'd be like, yes, diarrhea. And he'd be like, JD, thanks for stopping by. And I was like, yeah. He's like, GD, pick your poison. And I was like, very nice. So, and he said he had never memorized any English before that, but he is going to remember those for the rest of his life. So, I'm sorry, side story, but I love that story, and it's a good memory. It's a good memory. Yeah, you can say that can be our one of our new memes. We haven't had a meme in a long time. That's a good one. All right, so dai, picking back up, shinimasu. Okay, same pattern. E sound, E sound, E sound. Okay, the kanji part, E sound, mas. Kanji part, E sound, mas. Kanji part, E sound, mas. Might be a little different depending on the verb, but for the most part, or with these, boom, we're done. Past tense, same thing, just mashita. So nomi mashita. Nomamashita. Nope. Nomimashita. Erabimashita. Okay. Shinimashita. Okay. What's our negative? I want to see the negatives. Boom. 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 Let's hear them. Negative wa nan desu ka? Oof, it's chilly. Ugh. Too chilly. Too chilly this. Never thought I'd hear the day. Nomanai. So, and if we know one, if we have our base verb, we know how to do all the other ones. If it's nomanai, we're going into the a column now. We know everything else. Nomanai, rabanai, shinanai. Yep. Sometimes people mess up shinanai. They'll say like shininai or something like that. So be careful for that. Nomanai, irabanai, shinanai. Right? And then past tense, it's the same conjugation that we did with our E endings. Okay, nothing new. It's the same throughout all Japanese. It's wonderful. Negative conjugations, if you do it this way, everything is the same. Everything is the same. It's awesome. Boom. Add des for polite. Add des for polite. Erabanai, erabanakatta. Des. Shinanai. Shinanakatta. He didn't die. Naze? Ore wa shinanai. I cannot die. I will not die. Shinanakatta. Wait, what am I doing here? Shinanai desu. Right. Shinanakatta desu. Boom. You guys see it? Do you see the patterns? I watch too many crying women in anime to mess up Shinanai. Yeah, I saw it, right? I feel like Shinanai is one of those ones that's just like always there. Shinanai! Watashi wa Shinanai. I hear Shinanai for some like weird stuff like Bleach or something like that. One of my favorite lines, different, but Ikitai is what Robin says in One Piece. I always thought that was like legit. I want to live. And then Luffy's like, then get over. Let's go. Look, all the same. Now, we talked about it last slide, but okay, if you want the other polite option, nomimasen deshita. Erabimasen deshita. Okay? We're just doing the E column, and then instead of mas, it becomes masen. Okay? Pretty much everybody is familiar with that, unless you've done almost no Japanese. And if you haven't, then look, I'm going a little fast for obvious reasons, but just ask in the comments if you have more questions, or if you're live viewing, feel free to ask right now if you have questions. Please don't feel like you're bothering me. I'm here for you guys, to help you, to help other people learn. You've never watched One Piece? You're not missing a ton, but it is very cool. It is very cool. All right, so we did that. So far, technically, we've only needed to memorize 2 verbs. Let's just say we did kiku and nomu. Okay, kiku, boom, another verb because of it. The gu verbs, all of them. And then nomu. I don't know why I did that backwards. And then boom, because of nomu, we get 2 other verbs. The bu and nu. And there really aren't many new verbs, so don't worry about it. But so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've learned 5 verb conjugations for all verbs very easily. because of this awesome guy. All right, so far we've only stayed up here too. Pretty interesting, right? We will be getting down here in future lessons. Next week we'll be getting into here. Okay. Oh wait, nope, we won't even get there next lesson. Yep, not yet. Maybe two weeks from now. All right, so we did that. So what you gotta remember, oh, we gotta finish. So as you saw in the last slide, the last part. So how do we conjugate the plain past of nomu, erabu, and shinu? What is the plain past of nomu, erabu, and shinu? Nan desu ka? We saw it on that slide at the beginning, but maybe just some memorization. Right. Nonda. Right? Another reason why it's nice to see the kanjis. Like, there's no jama. There's nothing in the way. It's just this. I see this and this. That's nice. So it's like, oh, mu turns into unda. Got it. Eranda. Same thing. Shinda. Shi, the part that changes is the blue part. So shinda. Nice and clean. And it's da because it's assimilating. Whatever makes you feel better. So the next pattern, Yahoo! We get another 3 verbs tackled down by just one verb type. This is especially the one that I never see anyone organized together. I'm not sure why. They conjugate all the same way. It might not feel the same to you, but I promise it's the same. All right. Pattern 3. Oh, I forgot to write the thing. I thought I swear I did write that, so maybe it got deleted. I forgot to save or something. So ta, chisai tsu, and ta. That's how this one's gonna conjugate. Here we go. Oh no. Well, you're seeing the first part of the answer. We got to go from the what column to the what column? We're going for polite. We're going from oo to e, right? This one feels a little weird because not as many people are familiar with how this would work. But we're going from tsu to chi. So we're going from matsu to wait to machimasu. Machimasu. So oftentimes, like, if you want to say, I'll wait. That's how you would say that. Machimasu. I'll just wait here. Right? Right now, I am going to wait. Machimasu. Okay. So these ones do not perfectly pair up. Sorry. Never mind. It still works the same way. My bad. So machimasu here. What's this one going to be? We're going from oo to e sound. Oo to e. So what's tsukau gonna be? What's the polite of tsukau? What's the polite of wakaru? You should know the polite of wakaru very quickly. That's why I use this one. This row is weird for me because tsu sounds like su sometimes, and since tsu sounds like su, I never go to chi. Yep. Yeah. This one always feels a little bit different. So that's why knowing that chart, tachitsute to, really helps. Like, I used to just practice it because I was learning Japanese, but this chart, ayu e o kakiku kego sashisu seso tachitsute to nani no no haihu e ho. Like, I used to just say that because I didn't know what else to study, so I still recommend it. I didn't know how good it was, but it teaches you all conjugations, so very worth it. So right, good. Tsukaimasu, wakarimasu. Let's keep going. I want you out of here. You're confusing me. Tsukaimasu. Right? A, I, U, E, O. We're going from U to E. Rariru, rero. Ru to ri. Boom, boom, boom. Past tense, machimashita. Tsukaimashita. Wakarimasu. Hold on. I at least want to have this one in the kanji. And wakarimasu sometimes has kanji, but usually doesn't. So I'm not going to put that there. Very good, very good. All right, now we're going from, for negative, what sound do we go to? What sound is this? All these. What sound do all these use? What sound column is what we'll call it, I guess. We're almost there. Ah! Ah! That's right, the ah sound, ah column. Boom, 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 boom. So we're going from ma, tsu, ta, chi, tsu, te, to. So ta, ma, ta. So it's gonna be ma, ta, nai. Boom. Mata nai. I don't know why it does that. Boom. Mata nakata, and then add des, right? So we're just adding des to the end of these. Same. Now, here's the first big variation, right? So for the most part, all these are the same. But with oo ending verbs, there's a little weird part, okay? So if we go to our chart again, you would, oh, like, you know, we should go tsuka anai. Okay, that's not the case. This is the first kind of weird thing we're encountering. That's right. Just try again, Bridgewater, with the last one. With the last one. It's not wakanai, not wakanai. But matanai and tsukawanai is correct. So we don't go here. We're actually going to go over here to wa. There's a historical reason behind that. Don't worry about it. But something that's kind of cool that I found is, okay, look, this is the shape of wa, right? A little tip, like dit. All right, kind of looks like wa. So you can use that to maybe remember that this one turns to wa. Wah, wah. Good, just with this little thing there, right? So it kind of looks like wa. Okay, so this one, it's a regular, so to say, or different. Tsukawanai. Okay, tsukawanai. Wakanai. Wakanai, I think you're thinking of wakanai. Wakanai. So it's not wakanai, but it's wakanai. And then that is just the ra, not like enunciated or whatever. Yeah. It's not a dialect also. It is just a normal, like, shortening of that word. Yep. So wakaranai. Boom. Wakaranai. There we go. Then we add des, right? I'll just do it for the stream's sake. So matanai, matanakatta desu. Matanai desu. Tsukawanai, tsukawanakatta. This just add des, just add des. Wakaranai, wakaranakatta. Just add des, just add des. That's it. Okay, now we've gotten through the easy stuff. Spoken variation. Yep, just a variation. Now what do we do here? Okay, so maybe you know, maybe you don't. I have found fun little ways to remember this one, the plain past tense of matsu tsukau. So this is a tsu, right? It ends in tsu. Well, it's a tsu, right? Okay, let's just add ta to it. Matta. Then it becomes a tiny tu. A tiny tu. Matta. Tsu. Tsu. So that one, it kind of tells you. You just got to remember to make it small. Boom. Now, even tsukau. Okay. Kind of looks like tsu, to be honest. Look. If we get rid of the little thingy up there, add a ta, skatta. Kind of looks like it. Pretty cool, right? Skatta. So all we did to remember, got rid of this little thing, added ta, looks like skatta. I love that. I love it. All right. And wakaru is one that usually most people are super familiar with. So that's going to be hopefully one you should remember. Wakarimashita for the polite. Oops, this should be mashita. My bad. And then wakatta. Wakatta. Right? So, as you can see, all these conjugate the same way. Right? We'll make this yellow just to show that it's very irregular, I suppose. All right. But do you see the advantage of learning verb conjugations this way? It's very good. This is how I did it. So really, as soon as I would hear like, oh, matta, it's like I just knew it was in that category. Tsukatta, I was like, oh, that one also works that way. Right? I don't know. This is the first time I'm ever sharing this with any like outside of my students. So it came from here. The JD method. The JD verb conjugation method. All right. But this is, I think, the best way to learn verbs. It is the easiest way. It is the fastest way. So that if you have one home base verb, you know how to do this one, you know how to do this one, with the exception of wa here. Okay. We'll just call this rule number 1. Maybe they have real ways and there technically is a way of identifying them. I don't really care to teach it. Honestly, I just learned one at a time. And I think that general mentality is better for you if you want to learn Japanese. Just, oh, this is the way it is. I'm going to learn it. Now I'm moving on. I think that's a much better way to look at this. If you're watching right now and you haven't subscribed or liked this video, doing so would really help me a lot. It helps push the video out to more people. And this particular content I'm really passionate about. So I want more people to see it. So if you haven't done that yet, I'd really appreciate it. All right. Pattern 4. I didn't even write it. I definitely wrote it. All right. What's cool, guys? Guess what? Guess how many verbs we have left? 2. 2. Just 2 left. And then we've covered all verb conjugations. Okay? And you'll know all of them. It's very cool. Except for the irregulars. Okay. Just ignore the irregulars. Alright. So this one is su. This one's pretty easy. Okay? This is the su ending verb. There's only one kind. There's not more to this category. So it's unique. Boom. I think of oo as being woo. But the w sound getting assimilated to the following vowel, but it appears at wa. Yeah. I think I know what you mean. I go wah, wah. So hanasu, hanasu. All right, we're still following the exact same pattern. Nothing has changed. So for polite, we have an e sound, e sound. For negative, we have ah sound. Okay, so e. This is kind of how you can think of every single verb conjugation. All right. So what do we got here? Hanasu becomes boom, boom. So what is the polite of hanasu? And the past of that? What is the negative of hanasu and their conjugations? That's right. Hanashimasu. Hanashimasu. That's right. Hanashimasu. Okay. Boom. We went from the oo sound to the e sound, just like all the other ones. Okay. I will say, this type of verb gets mixed up with suru. I kind of know why. Basically because people think suru and shimasu, like, basically they just get mixed up. so that they think it's like hanasuru or something. So basically all you want to know is like you need to separate suru. Suru is special, it's irregular. All right, suru is weird and regular. Shimasu, okay? Yes, that's how it conjugates. Don't associate this with this. All right? Just keep suru shimasu. That's the only time you're going to go from su to shi, probably any other way. Right? So this is your su to shi verb. Suru has nothing to do with this. Okay? It just happens to conjugate like that. All right? So hanashimasu. Hanashimashita. でしょ? 話しました。で、あは話さないでしょ？話さない。Same thing. Boom. 話さない。話さなかった。話さないです。話さなかったです。Alright. So, last, the only one we need to really focus on memorizing is the plain past, just like before. And what is that? それは何ですか？こっちはプレインの過去形。plain past tense は何でしょう？そうです。話した。話した。Good. 話した。Very good. Done. We are done with that verb. So, again, what does this mean? If you learn hanasu, which is pretty much everybody's first su verb, I don't think there's really too many others that you would learn first. You know hanasu, you know how to conjugate every single verb that ends in su. Okay? That's how this works. So make hanasu your home base verb so that when you come across something weird like, you know, there you go. Something that's pretty common in anime. Koros. Koros. Now you know how to conjugate to kill. Koros. Koros. So you should know how to do this, 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 this. And again, just a quick reminder, the other, we'll just do it again here for hanashimasen and hanashimasen deshita. Okay? Alternative polite form. This is just what we'll call it. Boom. So now we know how to do all that stuff. Good. Okay, we're at the final verb. Can you believe it? I know it's been a long one, but again, verbs, it should just tell you verbs are the core to Japanese. I always teach people, if you want to get good, learn verb conjugations first. Verbs, adjectives, nouns, verbs. You want to get good fast, learn verb conjugations, learn lots of verbs. All right? Yeah, I definitely did this. I probably put it on the other thing or something. I don't know. Maybe it deleted by accident. So this is our Ru 2. Ru 2. And in this case, there's nothing. There's nothing. There's no change happening. Okay? Neru. Neru. To sleep. Taberu also falls in this category. Okay? So you already have a home-based verb for this, but I want to learn a different one because taberu is overused. All right. So you already know how to conjugate this if you know how to conjugate taberu. So how do we do it? You guys tell me all of them. Neru, boom. So neru polite, neru negative, past, boom, boom, boom. What do we got? Ochiru. That ochiru also falls in this category. That's right. So if ochiru is your home base, that's the first one you learned or the one that sticks the most in your mind, use that one. Borrow from those conjugations that you already know to conjugate any new verb. That's what home-based learning is. Neta. This one I'm going to leave the kanji out because I think it makes it a little bit clearer what's happening. Okay? Nothing is happening. There's no change. Up until now, we've always been using... sorry, one second. Nemasu. Up until now, we've always been doing something. We've always been going from u to e, right? Every time. We've always been going from u to a. Every time. not for this type of verb. Not for rule number 2. Okay? Not for this one. So in this case, there's 0 change happening. We are only adding. We're only adding. It's like get rid of the ru, add mas. Get rid of the ru, add mashta. Okay? Get rid of the ru, add nai. It is like the core basic component of verbs. Okay? So, nenai. Nenakatta. I keep doing it in the wrong thing. Nenakatta. Nenai desu. Nenakatta desu. Nemasu. Nemashita. So, this is the only one. Now, we get rid of the ru. Very simple. It is like just adding ta. Okay? So kind of this is the only thing that can maybe be considered as can be considered as a change, but basically get rid of the ru, add ta. This is the most basic verb form, and that's why taberu often feels the easiest to everybody. You're like taberu, tabenai. Well, it's because you're not actually changing anything. You're just adding nai. All right? So that is it. I was gonna go over all of it so you can see, but I might just post this in my Discord. So if you're watching this after the fact, you can go into my Discord. It should be in the description, and find this and do the quest that we're all gonna do. But yeah, just to do a little bit of it, you know, positive past, kita, isoida. Maybe so you can just see a couple. Nonda, asonda, shinda, matta, tsukatta, wakatta. Oops. Hanashita, neta. So, I mean it. If even, right. Get rid of this. Get rid of these. Get rid of... I guess you technically need to learn 6 verbs, but we'll just think of it like that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Memorize 6 verbs, or really just like 5.5, I should say. And then you know all the verb conjugations. It's really just this part. I promise. This is the only part that you'll get tripped up on in the future. Once you get just a general grasp, you're not going to have any other problems. This is it, right? The negative, it's just all except for the last one. Tsukanai. Isoganai. Nomanai. Wish I could just press enter. Asobanai. Shinanai. Matanai. Tsukawanai. There's the weird one. Wakaranai. Wakaranai. Anasanai. Nenai. Okay. Do you see the pattern? Do you see it? It's very clear. It is very clear to me. And I hope it's very clear to you now. Right? These 2 go together. These 3 go together. These 3 go together. This by itself. This by itself. There's only 5 conjugation patterns. There's only 5. We'll just say for the sake of learning, there's 5, okay? So, the only really difference is when this goes to wa. You know? Even then it's not too bad. Still an ah sound. All right? So, what is going on? Why is this? Okay. I was gonna do right. I'll paste that. All right. So next is for you guys. Okay. Now go do a quest. Go on a quest. This is the one that honestly is the easiest to identify. I think verbs are absolutely the easiest to identify, because they just look the most different, I think. And yeah. So whether you're watching anime, drama, movie, variety TV, a video game, whatever it is, you can do this. Whatever you're consuming, whatever kind of content you're consuming or immersing in, you can do this. All right. I forgot to write all this stuff, but yeah, essentially you're looking for these endings or any of the endings that we've looked at today. Okay, so there's really a lot of content to pull from this time, so you'll very quickly find 15 verb conjugations, I promise. All right, so you want to get better, go do it. And if you really want to, if you really care, do it right now. As soon as this stream ends, as soon as this video ends, go do it right now. The best way to build a habit is to attach it to an already existing habit. If you're watching me right now, this is the time to build a habit. If you're on YouTube watching a video, that's your habit that's already established. So attach this new habit right now, and you can get better at Japanese today. All right, so go and fetch 15 verb conjugations, post them in the Anime Quest Discord channel, all right, that you can find in the description. And yeah, let's do it. This is a huge part. Okay, you're gonna probably find stuff you don't know what it is yet. That's okay, we're just identifying. All right, learn a few verbs while you're at it. If it's stuff you've seen before, kanji you've seen before, definitely write those ones down. All right. はい。以上となります。お疲れ様です。That is definitely the longest stream I've done in a while, even though it wasn't that long, but...皆さん、よくできましたね。Thank you guys for everyone who participated. It really helps. Like, I really struggle to just talk. Like, I need a human. I need a human. Have to go to sleep, but I'll do it as soon as possible. Yeah, I know it's late. Yeah. So, but anyway, it doesn't have to be right now, but attach it to another habit, you know? If you're already watching anime, do it then, all right? If when you're on the toilet, when you're brushing your teeth or whatever, whenever you do that, if it's your relaxed time after work, that's the time to do it, okay? And if you have any more questions, please just post it in my Discord, and I'd love to help. I love teaching Japanese so much. I don't know why, but it is so much fun. I get to relive learning with you guys, and nothing makes me happier than helping you and talking about Japanese. Some things make me happier, but you know, but it's one of my biggest joys. All right, have a great night or great day, and I pray that your Japanese journey would be a fruitful one. All right, signing off desu. It's not real Japanese, but I just wanted to say it. All right, oyasumi, bye bye, mata ne. Thanks for the stream. Love you guys. All right, mata ne.